You and Marcus are 24. Same desk, same first paycheck. In 20 years, one of you will out earn the other and still end up the one who's behind. Not because of a raise, not because of willpower, because of one small thing one of you does today that feels like nothing, and a blind spot that stops the other from doing it. A blind spot your brain is born with and never once warns you about. Stay with me, because once you see it, you'll see it everywhere, starting with the exact years you're standing in right now. This isn't about being good with money or bad with it. It's about a kind of value sitting in your hands right now that you've been taught is worthless. The years themselves. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what your 20s are worth. Most people don't find out until they're 50. So let's go back to that desk. The paycheck clears. For one night, the whole world feels open. Marcus feels it too. He upgrades the phone, new trainers, the good seats at everything. And honestly, he looks like he's winning. You feel the pull to match him. Of course you do. But somewhere in the noise, one line you read snags and won't let go. You don't fully understand it yet. Something about how a little now is worth more than a lot later, for a reason almost no one your age believes. So you do the small thing, $40, then a little more, automatic, so you never even watch it leave. It feels like nothing. It feels almost embarrassing, sitting next to Marcus and his new everything. You don't know it yet, but you just made the most valuable decision of your financial life. And it cost you one dinner out. You are 35. Marcus did well, better than you on paper. The title, the car, the salary you'd both have killed for at 24. And he's finally ready to get serious about saving. Now that he's earning real money, he says. Now that it's actually worth doing. You don't say anything because you've quietly kept doing the small, boring thing for 11 years. And the number it's grown into, you almost don't believe it yourself. Marcus is starting with more money than you ever had. But for the first time watching him, you're not the one who feels behind. You can't explain why yet. You're about to. Here's the part almost nobody believes. And there's a reason your own brain hid it from you. A reason that's the whole game. I'll show you that reason in a second. But first, the number. Picture two people. The first invests for just 10 years, her 20s, and then stops completely, never adds another dollar. The second one waits, then invests every single year from 35 all the way to retirement. 3 times as long, 3 times as much money put in. And the first one, the one who quit after 10 years, can still retire with more. More. After putting in a third of what the second one did. Sit with that, because it breaks something in your head. The person who started earlier and stopped beat the person who started later and never stopped. And here is the reason it just broke your head. Your brain is built to think in straight lines. Add, add, add. So 10 years of saving should obviously lose to 30. More is more. But money doesn't grow in a straight line. It grows on what it already grew. It curves, slowly, then violently. It even has a name, exponential growth bias. Almost all of us underestimate anything that compounds, systematically. Not because we're bad at math, because the brain evolved for straight lines, and compounding bends. So that's the real enemy. Not your salary, not your willpower. A blind spot that makes the single most powerful force in your financial life feel too small to bother starting. That's not a money trick. That's time doing the heavy lifting. The lifting your brain refuses to picture. And time is the one thing a bigger salary can never go back and buy. One honest footnote before we move on. That example leans on a steady 7% a year. Real returns wobble, and yours will be different. And I'm not your financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. It's the psychology underneath the money. There's a moment around then where you wonder if you got it wrong. Marcus's life looks bigger than yours, louder. And for a second, the small, boring thing feels like the foolish one. But foolish is exactly how the blind spot makes it feel, right up until the curve catches. Someone catches the look on your face. Dana, near 60, has watched a lot of people do this. She doesn't give you a speech. She just says, "You're not behind him. You're early." And early is the only advantage money can't buy back later. Then she goes back to her tea, like she didn't just hand you the whole secret. You don't fully get it yet. You will. You are 45, and the gap everyone swore would come from earning more, it came from somewhere else entirely. Marcus is still working hard, still earning well, still chasing a thing that won't be caught, because the years he needed are behind him now, and you cannot deposit time. You're not working harder than him. You're working freer. That embarrassing $40 at 24 became something that now works while you sleep. Not because you were more disciplined, not because you earned more, but because you gave it the one ingredient it actually needed. You gave it time. Time you had at 24, and that your brain, doing exactly what brains do, waved away as nothing. Here's what nobody tells you at 24. Your 20s were never the warm-up. They were the richest you will ever be. A six-figure salary can buy almost anything. It cannot buy back a single year you already had. That is why the years you're standing in right now are worth more than the raise you're waiting for. And if you're closer to Marcus right now, if the window already feels half gone, don't hear this as the door closing. The best time was earlier. The second best time is the moment you stop waiting to earn more before you begin. Today is the youngest you will ever be again. If this changed how you see the years you're standing in, subscribe. That's the whole channel. The things about money nobody explains until it's almost too late to use them. I'll see you in the next one.